Hey guys, today we are checking out these awesome two little pedals from Tone City Audio, the Wildfro and the Golden Plexi. And let's jump in right away with a demo song. Take a listen. Alrighty, didn't these pedals sound so good? So that was my ESP Edwards LP-CTM with the Gibson pickups, the 498T in the bridge, through these two pedals, the Wildfro and the Golden Plexi, into my Friedman JEL 50 on channel 1 with a clean tone, going into my Grossmann Fatbox ISO cab with the V30, mic'd up with two SM57s and one MD421, sent into the DAW, and that's that. And yeah, I think these pedals sounded absolutely killer in that demo. So the kind folks from Tone City Audio, they sent these over to me and they asked me to make a video. So I was very happy to oblige because I think, again, that these pedals are really awesome. So we have the Wildfro over here. You might recognize this guy over here. Of course, that's Rabia Masad. And this, of course, is the Golden Plexi, which is kind of like a Plexi amp in a box, but with a bit more gain on tap than your average Plexi. So this is more of a modern high gain pedal, if you will. And this is kind of more like a classic pedal. I will say that both the pedals are very sturdy, with their very sturdy metal housing. So that is awesome. Super compact, of course. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make a video about these two pedals. I just like how good they sound for their size, if you will. They're ridiculous, in my opinion. So, the Wildfro, made in collaboration with Rabia Masad, that legendary YouTube guitarist that you all know, I'm sure. Apparently, it's based on Tone City's Wildfire pedal, which they tweaked to suit Rabia Masad's tastes. And in terms of the functionality, it's really simple. As you can see, we have a foot switch, true bypass. By the way, this gain control over here. And then up top, we have a volume and a tone control, as well as this switch over here, which is the more switch, which you can use to add more gain. And more gain is always good, right? This is a look from the side with the output jack, the input jack as well, the back. And of course, you can connect your power supply, 9-volt power supply, over here. So there you go in terms of looks. But like I said, pretty sturdy and also a bit heavier than you might expect from a pedal this size, which is a good thing in my opinion. So built very, very well. And then over here we have the Golden Plexi. Again, amp in a box style pedal to get you that classic Plexi tone and more. Yeah, it has plenty of gain on tap, especially when you compare it to like a classic Plexi, which I absolutely love. So again, foot switch, gain control over here, volume and tone. And then we have this switch, the mod switch over here. So apparently they've made a couple versions of the Golden Plexi, and this switch lets you choose between two versions. I'll let you hear the different versions in a minute. But and that makes this pedal quite versatile. So that is cool. Again, input jack, output jack, the back, And just a sturdy housing overall. You know, made from metal, nice weight. Just very classy, and both pedals feel very well made and high quality, if that is worth anything to you. Another thing worth mentioning is that these are very affordable. I think both are around 66 euros or so at Thomann. So that is awesome. So if you want to get one of these, just check out my affiliate link down below for Thomann and see how low the prices are. So that is awesome. They could have been priced higher, but they didn't. And I like that, okay? What I'd like to do now is grab my guitar, plug into that same rig, and just tweak some of the controls so you guys can hear, you know, how versatile these pedals are and what kind of tones these have to offer. Check it out. All right, guys, I am sitting here with my ESP Edwards LP-CTM with the Gibson pickups in it, the 498T in the bridge and the 490 something in the neck, going through these Tone City pedals, the Golden Plexi and the Wildfro. And those pedals are going into my Friedman JEL 50 amplifier on channel 1, the Plexi channel with low gain. That is being fed into my Grossmann Fatbox 1x12 cab, in which I've loaded up my Vintage 30, my Celestion, mic'd up with 3 mics, 2 SM57s and 1 MD421 going into the DAW where I'm applying no post-processing. And that's my usual basic setup. So, these pedals are awesome and we're having some fun with these pedals today for sure. Let's start by taking a listen to how the amplifier sounds with the pedals off. So, this is the dry amplifier, if you will. So that's a clean tone with some breakup, some mild breakup. The bright switch is set to the left position. To the middle, it's a bit darker. And to the right, it's a lot more bright. So we're sticking with the left position because that's kind of like the sweet spot, as I've noticed with these pedals anyway. So we're starting off with the Wildfro. This pedal is so cool, as you've been able to hear in this video so far. Tons of gain on tap, and it sounds and feels quite nice to play. So let's engage it once more. So right now, the settings that I'm using here is tone in the middle, volume in the middle. I have the more switch on, which obviously adds more gain, and gain is at around 3 o'clock. Let's start with the tone control, just so you guys can get an idea of the range of the tone that this pedal has to offer from dark to bright, right? Let's start at noon, then go counterclockwise and then clockwise. So for very bright amplifiers, turn it to the left. And for darker amplifiers, turn it to the right. So it's quite flexible in that regard. Another cool little touch is that when you play, an LED inside of the pedal lights up, a red LED. Can you see that on camera? I don't know if you can see that, but that's a cool little touch. And the volume control does what it says on the tin. You can push your amps really hard with this. It's fine as is now, but of course you can turn it down or turn it up. And then of course we also have the more switch. Let's see how much gain that adds. So in terms of the max that we can get without the more switch on, it's about this. Now that's a nice crunch. So you could use that either as a more like classic or mid-gain crunch, or to push your mid-gain or low-gain amplifier into more overdrive, right? I like to use this pedal as a standalone distortion pedal, as I think it sounds really good for that. So into a clean channel, basically. But you can do anything you want for some ultra filth, of course. Now let's go back to the more mode. Let's switch over once again. And real quick, let's check the amount of gain that you have on tap with the more mode. So that's a really wide range of distortion. So yeah, this pedal is a lot of fun to play through. If you have a simple amplifier, like a clean amp or an affordable practice amp or something like that, and you want to add some filth, highly recommend the Wildfro. Now, let's go to the Golden Plexi. This pedal is no slouch, people. This thing is awesome. So again, this is how it sounds with the pedal off. And when we turn it on, that is such a nice sound, right? Has that sort of woody thunk chunk to it. Of course, this pedal aims to recreate the sound of a Plexi and more, because it actually has more gain on tap than a Plexi would. And let's try that just for fun. Let's add some more gain. So let's put it at 3 o'clock, just as we had with the Wildfro. And let's see how much gain this pedal actually has to offer. Let's crank the gain up all the way. That is quite satisfying for a Plexi, right? Just in this small, compact little size. Pretty awesome, pretty awesome. So let's see what happens if we lower the gain. So that's a nice chimey crunch, but I think that the sweet spot for a little bit more of a classic tone is somewhere at around noon or 1 o'clock or so. So yeah, very, very pleasing indeed. Now, of course, we have a tone control. It's going to react very similarly as to how the tone control on the Wildfro reacted. Let's take a listen. So, you know, for these amp in a box style distortion pedals, these tone controls are just made to shape the pedal so that they work well with the amplifier that you're using, right? So they're gonna either add top end and upper mids or remove some. So that is nice, makes them more flexible, and to have that in one control is easy, you know. Then there's this mod control, which gives the pedal a little bit of a different flavor. Let's try that as well. It kind of makes the pedals sound a bit more controlled, right? Let's go back. So to the left, it's a bit more wild, has more gain, and I think sounds a touch more hairy as well. So yeah, a lot of fun. Let's do a quick comparison of the two. So this is, again, the Golden Plexi with a proper amount of gain on tap. And then the Wildfro. So yeah, these are two different flavors. Both are super compact, both sound great, and I really dig these. Alrighty, so those were the Tone City Audio Wildfro and Golden Plex. Some really high quality pedals that I really enjoyed. Of course, they are compact, so that means that they are kind of limited in terms of how many controls you can add. If you need more control over your tone, perhaps these are a little bit too limited. But I think that with the gain, volume, and tone controls, you can dial them into your amplifier for sure. It's just like a set and forget pedal. Switch it on, switch it off, and that's it, you know. But I like that. I like the fact that they're simple, small, and affordable. So again, if you want to try these pedals for yourself, check out my affiliate links below. As I mentioned, they are quite affordable. And let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, because I'd love to know. Also be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that really helps the channel out. Or you can get something in my web store, like an IR pack or a quad cortex capture pack, or buy something at my affiliate links for Tone One Sweetwater and Tube Amp Doctor. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.